All right, time to talk ELTs. A necessary, at least for me, component of the aircraft. In most experimentals, you're going to find an ELT. It not only allows you to transmit a beacon for your location, but to contain some information like GPS coordinates and tail number. There's a ton of good information coming here, but if I give it to you all up front, you're going to wind up skipping this video and go back to watching some dude build a cabin out of sticks and muds in the woods. For now, let's get to the build, and then we'll come back to this. As mentioned, the unit's going back here in the tail cone where I have it pretty much pre-wired. It does come with a mounting bracket. I also have a template from that host of templates that I ordered earlier in the build, and checking, they match up pretty well. I'm going to utilize the central rib here. I think I can replace a rivet with a bolt and add a couple more bolts and have this thing secured on. And so I'm going to get it mounted physically, and then we'll wrap up the wiring and take a look at what needs to be done up front. It's in! The actual ELT is in. I'm pretty happy with how it came out. I went a little overkill on my connector for the buzzer. I figured I've got extras of those and they work so great and they're easy. So bam, there it is. And I went a little underkill on my attachment method for the buzzer, but that thing is just so lightweight. I didn't want to bring screws and nuts and bolts and washers into it. So little double-sided mounting tape and slap it together. I will test it when the time is right, literally. You got to test it 5 minutes after the hour. But also, figuratively, I want to get the front of this done first. So let's head up to the front of the plane and install the switch, and then we'll test this thing out. A necessary, at least for me, component of the aircraft in most experimentals you're going to find an ELT. It not only allows you to transmit a beacon for your location, but to contain some information like GPS coordinates and tail number. There are a few on the market, as I found doing my research, and a few different differentiators that are going to guide your decisions when purchasing an ELT. I chose the Artex 345. It's transmitting on both 121.5 and 406, as I mentioned. Not only that, it's available in my favorite color. Jokes aside, I am excited about this unit. I did a host of research and landed on this one because of its ease of installation, its features, and from what I saw on forums, a really great track record. Now, I discovered it can be really helpful to know which ELT you're going to utilize and how you're going to wire it as you're drawing up your initial wiring diagram. I didn't do that, but luckily, because of the research I did, I was able to fit it in with little modification to my system. If you go out and you order an ELT without the proper programming and without considering how it's going to be wired, you can wind up not being able to get this thing to work with your system. That's because this is going to grab information data from your avionics to be able to broadcast that GPS coordinates I mentioned. In order to do this, it can be pre-programmed either on 4800 baud or 9600 baud. Now, most avionics systems, especially the G3X, are able to switch the data rate at which they transmit, which makes it seem like you should be able to configure any port to be able to work with this. But that's not always the case, because when you program this to a certain speed, you're also programming it to a dedicated protocol on how that information is sent. Meaning, if you pre-program this to transmit via 9600 baud, it's going to come expecting aviation protocol information. Similarly, if you program it to 4800 baud, it's going to expect NMEA protocol information. Now, that information protocol can really dictate which outputs you're using and which boxes you're using to hook this up. Let's say I had this programmed at its default 9600 baud. My GDU can do that, no problem, but what it can't do is provide aviation data protocol. In order to provide the correct protocol from the GDU, which is NMEA, I have to have this at 4800 baud. So when I purchased it, I dictated the data rate, the protocol, and I also provided them my tail number. In all of this, they did happen to transpose a couple letters on my tail number, so I'm either going to have to send this back or find someone local that can reprogram it, because programming is not something you can do in your garage and not something that can be done remote. It is a bit of a bummer in that in all my research and trying to prevent having to send this back in to be programmed, I'm going to wind up having to do it anyways, but hopefully I can save you from the same fate. All right, I've got the wire that I need. It's dangling out over on this side. I just got to route it over to that side. And then I think the connections should be fairly straightforward. The hardest thing here is going to be creating a cutout in this panel by hand. Everything else here was done via CNC. And so I'm going to hack this up with a Dremel likely. Over on that far side, we'll add a switch. Oh shit. So when sneaking that wire through, and I should have thought this through a little more, but at some point I shorted out the two leads, which is effectively the same as hitting the switch, and bam, what we wound up with was my ELT going off. I got it silenced, shut down as quickly as I could. Hopefully nothing arises from that. I haven't had a knock at the door yet. And I'm pretty well buried in here, so we'll see. Sneaking those wires through is always a pain. Luckily, I only have a few left before I'm done. Once wired, I did a quick crimp job to get the leads on there, and I got the connector added. Quick tip, if you're having a hard time reading the letters or numbers on these tiny little connectors, hit it with a Sharpie and then rub it with your thumb. It'll bring out some contrast so you can actually see what you're doing. and then it was just a matter of measuring as best I could to put the switch where I wanted it. And then I did a weird thing I've done in the past where a series of holes to create a bigger hole and finished it up with some filing. So, not to belabor the point, but I do want to highlight that you might be thinking, oh great, I got NMEA 4800 and 9600 Bob. Now, if you didn't have them configure your ELT for 4800, it's going to come automatically at 9600. And you're thinking, cool, this will work, except it won't. Because if that's at 9600, it's not going to be NMEA, it's going to be an aviation protocol. And you don't have the option from this unit to do aviation protocol 9600. That's got to come from something like your IFR navigator. And if you're like me, you've already utilized the port heading out of this that's using aviation protocol 9600 baud. For me, this is going to work perfect. This should have it set up so that I can test it. That is, of course, assuming that I can get some GPS signal in here. It's exactly what we're looking for. One long beep, that's it. Test complete. Yeah, well, I guess that's it. With the switch installed, everything hooked up, we tested it, and of course, as you saw, the test was successful. So that basically sums it up. The only thing left to do here is to clean up my mess. The ELT is installed, it's functional, it tests properly, and it's on to the next, which is gonna be control grip. I'm excited about the control grips. I hope that they're fairly straightforward, but there is a deceiving amount of work into getting everything down there hooked up. If you wanna see it, make sure you're subscribed. It'll be on here next time. Until then, thanks for watching Ryan Flies. Very quickly, I want to apologize. If you have written me a message over my website and have not received a response, I am sorry. While you probably got a positive response from the website, I did not get your message and thus have not responded. Unfortunately, for me to go back and get old entries, it's going to cost something like $150 from the form provider. And frankly, I'm not going to do that. It is once again working if you want to resend your message. If you liked this episode, if you accept my apology, if you're just even still watching at this point, go ahead and hit the thumbs up button. I'd really appreciate it. Thanks, we'll see you next time.